can do it now, yeah.
So I just realised I have my mic off. So front bar powered enchantment, restoration staff. Back bar's lightning, charge and shock, just for the off balance for your damage dealers, so they do more damage. Depending on what gear you're running, what content you're running, depends on what support set you'd be running. Mending's really good if you're running with stamina DDs rather than the magicka. Reduces weapon damage of all enemies within 10 meters of an AoE healing skill. 425 for 3 seconds. Worm Cult is good if you're using magicka DDs in there, as well as your tank if he relies a lot on his chains and stuff like that. Reduces all abilities by 4% for 11 group members. It's mainly aimed at trials, but you could use it in 4-man or anything like that. Main set pieces, Spell Power Cure, White Gold Tower, everybody should know. The reason I use main enchants, tri-stat enchants in the main pieces is because it increases the amount of health you do have. When it tops your health over a certain threshold, you could start using Witch Mother's Brews, and with those Witch Mother's Brews they give you a lot more sustain. Like if you check my character, even unbuffed, nearly 2300 magicka recovery. Spell damage is quite low until you start getting all your buffs from everywhere, like your 20% spell damage from Major Sorcery. Your Spell Power Cure bonus, I end up at about 2200, I think, 2250 spell damage. Back to the gear. So that's those. I do literally need to do another run, see if we can get a gold mending necklace. But ideally, I think I'll cast said the new best sustain was to use cost reduction, magicka cost reduction, and 1 spell damage. I still use recovery just from last patch. I've not had a problem with recovery yet. I've been in trials with this, I've been in vet DSA with this, I've not ever run out of magicka. Let me think. So that's those, so down to the skills, and I'll explain why. So the restoration bar, Breath of Life is basically the oh shit button in case all your team's getting absolutely smashed by anything, or they're just silly enough to stand in something that they shouldn't be. Gives them a quick heal, burst heal, they're back in. I've seen crits in excess of 23-24k on this. That's enough to heal any DD and really almost any tank. If a tank is using anything with healing received, is going to be near enough full health. Healing Springs, main heal. Your DDs shouldn't be stupid enough to be running around like dickheads with bows thinking they're fucking Legolas. So they should be right next to the boss, melee range, they should be smashing that boss in. Healing Springs will hit everything. Harness Magicka is basically your own sustain if you're getting hit by spells. It gives you a nice little Magicka shield. Stops you from getting absolutely destroyed if the tank can't claim aggro of everything. Is also ideal for a lot harder content where you might need to tank stuff yourself. Combat Prayer, if people are smart enough to be in a nice group, drop everybody with Combat Prayer, 8% extra damage straight up. Radiant Aura, I use this, it's a flex spot, you can use quite a lot of abilities. You could use Mutagen, you could use Healing Ward, you could use Quick Siphon, you could use quite a lot of other stuff. You could even put in a light on there if you really wanted to, but I don't really pay attention to a light anymore. But the reason I use Radiant Aura is because it gives 10% resistance, 10% recoveries to all 3. And not just that, once you blast it out, it hits all the mobs it can with Minor Magicka Steel, which restores 300 magicka every 1 second while you're damaging them. So if you've got magicka DDs and they've got Wall of Elements down or damage over time abilities, it will restore 300 magicka every second to them. And the Nova to Solar Prism ultimate, just because it gives the major maim, sorry, reducing all damage in the area by 30%. Really good if you drop it on the tank, if he's taking a beating. Really good synergy as well for 12k damage. It can create in excess of 26k, I think I've heard. It's wiped most stuff out in one, to be fair. Lightning bar, so I'll show the lightning bar. Yeah, the charge shock. Skills on the lightning bar. Your main skill is blockade, so you set the enemies off balance. If you've got a few magicka DDs, regardless of what Alcast has said about the flame lash, about it consuming the off balance, I just don't really pay attention to that, because that flame lash is what gives the magicka that extra bit of DPS. Elemental drain, ideally to use on bosses, get that magicka back from smashing bosses in through rotations. Luminous shards or orbs, it's totally up to you. It's like both are really good. They both restore similar resources. One stores an extra 330. Oh no, sorry. Hang on, where we're going here. Well, basically, one restores 3960, one restores 3692. The shard can be... Oh, reading the wrong fucking thing. 3692 magic damage. They both restore 3960 resources. The shards, however, I morph them into luminous because I don't feel like the tank should be neglected for the magicka. They need the magicka for the talons and the chains. So when you drop them, the tank gets a nice little bit back on that. But the only thing I would use the energy orb for is if you're in a trial situation and you need the healing constantly going through the team. That's the only thing I would use them for. But same again, the flex spot, just realised on the front bar with Radiant Aura, you could also use Efficient Purge, but while you've got the extended ritual, you shouldn't really need it. The healing ritual does a lot of healing, purifies energy, heals for a lot as well if it crits. Also on yourself, if you are snared or anything like that, any negative effects, drop it and it'll just do it straight away, get rid of them. And the channel focus, that's your main sustain and defense. If you are sat in channel focus and you are spamming healing springs on a group of 3 to 6 players, you are never going to run out of magicka ever. The resistance as well, if you're sat in that with the harness magicka, it increases your resistance something silly. You can even tank bosses on vet hard mode as a healer. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the war horn into aggressive horn to give everyone the crit damage, the extra 15% crit damage for 9.5 seconds. The gear I'm running at the minute is not the best in slot, as I've been told by one of the raid leaders in the guild I am in. Apparently Jaw Vaults and Spell Power Cure is really nice. Apparently it increases your Warhorn to 38 seconds from 30. So I've literally just got my full set of Jaw Vaults, but I've not got it in the pieces I need. So I will be eventually sorting that out, and I'll probably do another video when I've got that shit. But aside from that, the only thing I'm using is the Witch Mother's Brews, just because it gives the regen. I don't know if I have any spell power pots. Right, okay. So if I pop a spell power pot and drop my brew, and I don't think there's anything else to heal myself with. Character, so 2275 spell damage, 2603 recovery. Obviously plus the extra recovery from when I'm standing in it, you're probably at about 3k recovery. So when you go to your skills, the healing springs don't even cost 3k, so now you can understand why it's an infinite sustain, plus you gain 338 magicka for each friendly target healed. So that's how you have infinite healing springs. And I know there's plenty of videos of this, but this guy is a newbie healer, he's just trying to learn the basics, so I've just done the video for him.